If you're finding trading to be confusing or stressful or just plain frustrating, listen up. The problem? It might not actually be you. It could be the charts you're staring at every day. Does this sound familiar? You feel like you're constantly getting faked out by the market, right? You hesitate on your entries. You're second guessing every single decision. And maybe you're closing trades way too early just out of fear. Well, you are definitely not alone. And we're about to get into exactly why that happens. Okay, so to really get to the solution, we first have to shine a light on the problem. And for so many traders, the problem starts with the one tool they use every single day, those standard candlestick charts. Yeah, they're the default, but honestly, they can make trading way, way harder than it needs to be. The core issue, in one word, is noise. See, regular charts, they show you every single minor price movement, every tiny little wick, every brief fluctuation. And what you get is this chaotic, cluttered view just jammed with false signals. It makes it almost impossible to trade with any real conviction. You're staring at a mess, trying to find a clear signal in all that chaos. Honestly, it's like you've set your trading to hard mode without even realizing it. But what if I told you there's a way to switch that difficulty setting down? A way to see the market with incredible, almost unbelievable clarity. All right, let's introduce the solution to all this chaos. It's a completely different way of looking at price action, and it's called Heikin Ashi. And believe me, the difference is like night and day. Your regular candlesticks, they're showing you raw, unfiltered price data, which is why it's so volatile and noisy. But Heikin Ashi, it uses averaged price data. And that one simple change filters out all those insignificant little moves, giving you a chart that's smooth, clear, and just so much easier to read. And you know what's cool? The name itself tells you everything you need to know. Heikin Ashi. It literally means average bar in Japanese. Its whole purpose, its entire reason for being, is to average out the price action, to give you a much, much cleaner picture of the real trend. So you're probably wondering, okay, how does it actually do that? How does it get that beautifully smoothed out look? Well, it all comes down to some really simple but super powerful logic in how the candles are calculated. And don't worry, you do not need to be a math whiz to get this. The concept is super simple. Instead of using raw price data, each Heikin Ashi candle's open actually starts from the middle of the previous candle, and its close is an average of the current price action. It's this continuous averaging that creates a chart that just filters out all that distracting noise. So, what does this awesome simplification mean for you, the trader? It means you can forget about trying to memorize dozens of complicated candlestick patterns. Seriously, just forget them. With Heikin Ashi, your job gets way easier. It's all about recognizing just 3 simple, core patterns. That's it. Let's look at them. Okay, here they are. The only 3 patterns you really need to know. First, a strong bullish trend. It looks like a series of green candles with no bottom wicks. That's your signal for strong buying pressure. Second, a strong bearish trend. It's the exact opposite. Red candles with no top wicks. Super clear signal of selling pressure. And finally, you have a doji, or a potential reversal. That's a candle with a tiny little body and long wicks on both sides. It's telling you there's indecision, or maybe the trend is about to change. And that's it. Instead of dozens of patterns, you just need to keep an eye out for these 3. All right, so we've got a cleaner chart and we've got way simpler patterns. That's great. But the real question is, how does that actually translate into better trading? How does this simple switch help you trade with real, genuine confidence? Well, for starters, you can finally see the true trend. Instead of that choppy, confusing mess of red and green candles everywhere, you see these long, smooth strings of the same color. It just makes identifying the overall direction of the market so much more straightforward. You're going to spend way less time second-guessing whether you're on the right side of the trade. And second, by stripping away all that noise, the real support and resistance zones become crystal clear. You're no longer getting distracted by all those insignificant wicks, so you can draw your key levels with much higher accuracy. You'll actually be trading off of levels that truly matter. But here's the big one. Maybe the most powerful advantage of all is how Heikin Ashi helps you avoid those incredibly frustrating and costly fake-outs. And this, right here, is where this tool can be an absolute game changer for a lot of traders. So here's how it works. Remember how the body of the candle represents the average price? Well, because of that, you get a much more reliable signal. For a breakout to be legit, the average price, the candle's body, has to actually close outside your zone, not just some fleeting random wick. That one simple rule forces you to wait for real confirmation, and it stops you from jumping into those false moves. It really all boils down to this. Clarity leads to confidence. When your charts are clear, your analysis becomes clear. And when your analysis is clear, your decisions become confident. You stop hesitating. You start executing your plan with conviction. Because for the first time, you can actually trust what you're seeing.
Okay, so you're probably thinking, this sounds great, but how can I test it out for myself without risking any money? The best way is to backtest, of course. But there's a little catch on most charting platforms. But don't worry, there's a really simple workaround.
Let's take a platform like TradingView. You can't use the bar replay feature directly on Heikin Ashi charts. It's a bit of a quirk, but here's the trick. First, stay on your normal, regular candlestick chart. Second, add an indicator. Just search for Heikin Ashi candle overlay. Third, pop into your chart settings and just hide the body, borders, and wicks of those original candles. Bam! This little workaround lets you use the replay tool to your heart's content, so you can practice and build your skills completely risk-free. So I want to leave you with one big question to think about. What if the key to unlocking your trading consistency isn't some new, super complex strategy, but simply a clearer, more honest view of the market? Go ahead, switch your chart type and see what happens. You might be surprised.